Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining our webinar, What in the World Can Be That Interesting About a Simple Customer Card? Very quickly, an introduction. I'm an Olga Sadara, project manager of Etc., and we are a Microsoft partner, and we operate an ERP, BI, HRM, and CRM solutions. We have more than 100 people in our team, and we have more than 20 years of experience. So as I said, we have 4 main areas of competence, and here you can see our main products as well. But for this series, we are focusing on CRM sphere and on the product Microsoft Dynamics Sales. This webinar is a part of a whole series. If you haven't seen the previous sessions, you can watch them after. So far we have spoken about the idea of selecting the right platform to build up your CRM solution. We have shown several CRM functionalities in our demo sessions, and we have spoken about IT project implementation approaches of what should you consider when you start thinking and how can you implement the solution. And today we are talking about a customer card. Really, like, are we here to talk about the fields of a customer card? Because the customer card is something where you keep your customer data, so you have your address, you have your contact information. Are we really going to spend 20-30 minutes talking about that? Well, not really. The idea is that when you plan implementation of your CRM solution, there are some fundamental questions about your customers to be answered before you go into fields and tables and the very blocks that you would like to see in your solution. And here we have very important questions to be raised. So the goal of this webinar is to provide some input for you to think about before you start planning a CRM solution implementation. Because the very idea of defining the customer and defining the data that should reach your CRM solution is crucial, and it actually does create this fundamental idea of your CRM solution. Let us elaborate on that. The thing about Microsoft Dynamics Sales is that this is a very bulky, complex, and flexible platform. And this is not a solution where you probably should take a look at the standard process and think whether it is applicable to your business or not. Because we have had some customers who say, you know what, I have seen some demo, there were a person adding some products to a quote, but in our business, we don't actually have products, we have services, and we have a separate solution for quotes. Maybe it doesn't work for us. So in case of Dynamics Sales Platform, this is a very wrong approach. You should not stick to the names of the entities. You should not stick to one particular process. You should think big. You should think processes. You should think concepts. And you should understand the logic and the architecture of the solution and the opportunities it provides. And real magic happens when you can find the synergy between the processes in your business and the architecture and the opportunities the solution can provide. So let's elaborate on that. The first question to ask here is, what customers are we talking about? So we know the CRM solution is all about sales, it's all about customer relationship management, but who is the customer? Let us say I'm a representative of a car selling company. Who is my customer? Is my customer someone who is entering my office and saying, you know what, I want to buy a car? Is it the person that I should consider customer? Or is my customer someone who already has a car from my company? Or is it a person who somebody just has received their driving license for the very first time in their life, who have no car at all whatsoever, who have no idea our company exists, but we still have a potential to sell them another car? So who is the customer? And the situation we very often see in organizations is that they split all those customer groups and they say, for existing companies, we have one solution. So here we provide maybe maintenance, maybe repair works for the car, maybe detail, but those are existing customers, they have nothing to do with sales. Our new potential customers that we have no idea who they are and whether they have, whether they will ever contact us, whether they have a car at all, are somewhere in the world. So that's all about marketing, and our marketing solution is a separate solution. Let's marketing team cover that. And our customer is the one who comes with ideas. So this is when we say this is our lead, our potential to get that and get them to your sales. Well, in reality, today, the customer relationship management idea is more complex than that. In reality, when we work about customers, we want to achieve customer loyalty, and we want to actually achieve cooperation. And we don't consider that in a very narrow way when we just put it lead to sale process based. We actually talk about achieving loyalty, and a lot of different aspects impact that. So in case of a car selling company, I might be your customer, but I might be very pleased with the maintenance and for the repair work. And next time I want to buy another car for my daughter, I do want to get back to a customer, to your company, because I'm very pleased customer. Or in case of marketing team, just having a campaign and reaching wherever people there are on the market who have never entered your office, those can be potential customers as well. The idea today is that we would want to see customer relationship management covering various processes. So we do want to consider support cases, maybe some insurance cases, direct sales, leads, lead to sales situations. We do want to see what marketing team are doing to this customer, and we do want to see it reflected on account customer card. For that, we really should think big and think about all the customer clusters that we can cover in CRM solution. So the first idea that Microsoft Sales provides us is that, yes, with this solution, we can cover various processes. And maybe that means omitting some of the alternative solutions and covering lots of departments' activities with one solution. Maybe that means adjusting your business processes. But the reality is that you can get a very large whole picture of communication going on with the customer, and from there you can provide better service and achieve better cooperation. And if you think about it, then you really do very little division between the prospects, your new customers who have never actually had cooperation with you, and your actual customers who already have some cooperation with you, and you can cover all of them with one system. If we do that, we need to consider the very technical and business-wise way we cover those, because what happens when companies start thinking, okay, let us cover support and we want to know everything that marketing is doing, what happens that still companies tend to have a lot of third-party solutions. And that means that if you want to see them in our CRM solution as well, that means really inserting your customer data into several solutions separately. So let's say that you are happy with this idea. Yes, it is important to know what marketing team are doing to our same customer. So maybe the project manager or the salesperson who deals with this customer wants to see marketing activities. Does it mean that they will have to go to the same account card, and does it mean that we will need to insert the customer data several times? In Microsoft Dynamics Sales, there is a lot of technical background, making sure that it doesn't happen, making sure that data in different solutions get synchronized and duplicated logically and automatically without people having to manually insert it. So number one, we try to cover many processes so that we see a whole picture happening to the customer. Number two, we need to build a process like this so that it happens automatically, it doesn't happen manually. An example here can be this. So let us say you have a very simple solution. You have Dynamics Sales as your CRM solution, but you also have Business Central as your ERP solution. So as a salesperson working in Dynamics Sales, do I want to know what the financial background of the customer is? Do I want to know whether they have overdue invoices? Do I want to see the amount of invoices already billed and paid? Well, I probably might want to know that because this is what tells me about this cooperation background. And this is how I see, you know what, it looks like we have lots of potential. This customer is very loyal to us. They have been buying from us a lot. So this is how we set up the process, that we make sure that the customer data gets entered into one process, and then it gets synchronized over the solutions, and all the parties get an updated situation at the customer background. So, and once we understand that, yes, CRM solution is something that covers the work of different people, how do we define the team that should work in CRM solutions? So who are those people that we are covering? And what does it mean? Does it mean that our customer is dealt with by many different people in our organization? Well, today, sales process is a beautifully complex process. That means, let's say that the example of our BCS Ether experience, we work with different customers and we provide solutions, software solutions. Let's say I am a project manager in our organization, and I talk to another project manager from the customer side, and we are having day-to-day communication. And I'm the one generally responsible for getting the idea if there is anything that the customer might need in addition to the solution we are implementing on supporting. But what can also happen is that the CEO of BCS Ether met CEO of the customer at the airport, and they had a small talk. And this is how our CEO learned, you know what, there are some strategic changes the customer is planning, and maybe they're going to need another product. Maybe this is where we should step in and be helpful. And then maybe marketing department was creating a marketing campaign, and someone from middle management of this customer participated in that, and they said, you know what, this BI solution looked very good. This is something we probably would like to have. Or maybe some of our developers, who is obviously doing some midnight work here, is married to their support person. And at night they were talking about something else. So all those pieces of information that potentially the customer might want something, there is something that is missing there, are very valuable today. Our main goal is not to just drag the customer to the sales spot, but our goal is to understand their background, to understand their requirements and needs, and to build up our process, our communication, so that we can be helpful. So in Microsoft Dynamics Sales, the solution is built up starting from this very idea that we do want to see all those little pieces of information that many different people can get from the customer. And what you are looking at is called wireframe. And this is a design tool that we use a lot during design stage. Basically, this is how we can plan the blocks of the data displayed in the solution before we start prototyping and setting up solutions. So this is a very cheap way how you can say what kind of data you want to be displayed and how you can agree and confirm that, yes, this is the solution we need. So as you see here, we are talking about a sample account meaning customer, who belongs to me because I am the owner. So that means that I am the one handling the main communication. But you also see in the timeline that I was making a call about a BI solution, but my colleague did send some materials during a marketing list campaign. And another colleague actually thanked the customer for registration to another webinar or another meeting. And all those pieces actually get the account card, the customer card. So does it mean that all the team was coming to account card and adding it and putting manually the information about what they did and what personal touch they had with the customer? No, because the architecture of Microsoft Dynamics Sales means that we can synchronize and integrate the solution with Outlook, Outlook email, Outlook calendar, Teams, marketing solution within Dynamics Sales. And all of these people who did leave their note actually were using their own tools. So the person who invited the customer to an appointment were using their own calendar. They only pushed a button which led the appointment to be synchronized with the right account card. And all this information flew on an account card. Now, categorization. So when we see that, yes, the amount of customers, potential customers or existing customers should be large, should be more than somebody who's just said, you know what, we want a solution, or you know what, we want your product, but it should also be potential customers, existing customers. You probably need to categorize the customers, and you probably need to have good tools to categorize. In Dynamics Sales, you can use color identification method, and it can mean whatever it means to your particular organizations. We have customers who use this color identification system saying that red means that the customer is having a debt, some overdue invoices, and the customer should not be provided services. Or the red might mean that this customer needs immediate attention and she should be dealt with. Or it might mean that there are some ongoing issues, for example, some complaints, and you need to deal with that. Or red might mean that this is a high priority customer. So you can define those and you can use colors to identify and categorize your customers. But also you can create your list of attributes, albeit priority area, the products the customer is potentially interested in. You use your attributes. Later on, those attributes can be used for filtering and for creating marketing clicks and for analytics. Whatever attribute you create, you can later on use it. For example, if I want to see how much money or how many projects construction-related companies brought us this year, so I can filter it out and I can see that. Or for example, when my colleague will be creating a marketing list and she would like to filter out all the companies who are potentially related in BI solutions, so she can easily get that. And here are the functionalities that support that from technical point of view. And now we have reached the point where we need to talk about this very idea of differentiating the process-based and customer-based data. So generally, process-based situation is when you have the beginning of the process and end of the process. It can be one particular project, for example, one particular case. In case of business, etc., so when we have a potential customer who says, I'm interested in BI solution, the process would start there and it would end with whether winning this and sending this project to be implemented or losing it because the customer might want something else. And this process will have several steps, and we will consider all of them next time for our webinar. But also a process can be an insurance case or a complaint or debt management related situation. Whatever it is, when it has a beginning and the end, it can be a process-based data related to a customer. And customer-based, well, this is something that you will have to define with your IT partner, because I don't know the background of your businesses. But we should think whether there is something about the customer that we need to know about their general background. Well, maybe there are particular rates promised to this customer, and they are applicable to all the projects. Or maybe you want to have a list of documents which is there and which is about all the customer. Or maybe there are some general agreements. Or maybe there is financial data like billing and overdue invoices, and you want to have a general picture of that. Or maybe on account card, you would want to see a summary of process-based data. Like every process can be considered separately, every project is a separate, but on account card, you want to see all the projects that are going on. So if I use Microsoft Dynamics Sales in Business, etc., and I want to take a look at the customer card, I can see that there are 5 different projects going on at the same time. So there are BI and CRM and ERP, and I can check them all and I can see the statuses, but I have a sum up on an account card. How do you get there? Well, I will have to bring you back to a wireframe idea. This is an example of how we work with the customers. We cannot define the account-related data that is important for you in your business, but how we can do that, we can provide you a wireframe and you can think. So basically, this is the way it looks. So we show you the blocks that you can potentially use, and then we move on suggesting the information that you can have there. So maybe on a summary tab, you want to have category and priority and address and maybe general contact information. You want to have to see all the timeline of communication, the sum up of agreements and quotes, whatsoever. And this way, we plan and design every tab. So if you see here, we can see summary, but we can also have a billing tab where you show the overdue invoices and built invoices whatsoever. Or you can have support rates, or if you have a lot of people, you can have a separate tab for all the contacts For example, in some projects we have a BI team having a group of people and CRM team having another group of people. We want to have a tab where we see all of the people related to this particular customer. This is something for us to consider during design phase. But from technical point of view, this division is very much supported by the program, because as I said, the platform is very flexible. And when you see the entities, you can use your own custom entities and create those tabs and tables that you want to display your account related data. So I hope that I have provided some ideas for you to consider when you start thinking about implementing the project. So here are the next webinars that we are going to have. Next time we are focusing on process-related data and displaying it. We'll consider different processes and projects and how we can handle those in Microsoft Dynamics Sales solution. If you have any questions, please use the chat or please email us after the webinar. But I think we don't have many questions here. So I thank you so much, and you are most welcome to join our next webinars. Thank you.